Today I'm teaching all of you 8 different ways to win more fights in ranked. These techniques that I'm going to show you are designed to end fights in the fastest way possible, so if you guys do enjoy, make sure you are subscribed. I want to hit 25k by the end of the year, but now onto the video. Now in this new meta, you need to end fights fast because third parties are inevitable, so let me show you one of the best ways to end fights quickly. One simple example of this is right here. As you can see, this is me spraying the player in the car. He jumps out and he's going to get on high ground. Now when he gets on high ground, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to make space, but most importantly, I'm not going to limit myself to one box. I make 2 so that I can play from either of them. Now, after I make this 2x1 of space, this player is going to drop on my wall, but you need to pay attention to what I'm about to do right here because this is the best possible peek in this scenario. When a player drops on your roof at this angle and they're trying to swing, steal a wall, anything like that, you're going to, instead of editing on them right here, like I could edit on them and try and shoot them, but I put myself in a 50-50 there. We don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to edit the wall below me and place a ramp. Once I place the ramp, I'm going to do a side jump off of the ramp. This is going to catch the player completely off guard, and I'm able to crack him, place a wall in between me and him, and then I'm obviously able to full piece him up at that point, and I'm able to spray through. Notice how I shoot my shotgun so he can't get up, and I'm able to spray through and pick up a simple elim just because I did a really good peek and caught this player off guard. Next up, let's talk about one of the most important parts of this video, predictions. Now, predictions, not only do they allow you to pick up free kills, but they allow you to end fights way faster. Now, one example is right here. As you can see, I'm about to spray this player and I get a big hit of opening damage. Obviously, I'm going to push this player, but most importantly, I'm going to be reading his body language to let me predict where he's going to move to. Notice how he starts backing up. I see him start to backpedal. This means that more than likely he's going to end up in this box right here. So I'm going to predict that he's going to go into that area. So instead of trying to go for this box, I'm going to full piece the box next to him. What this does is it allows me to obviously get the floor and the cone before him, and I can double edit him in, place a cone so obviously he can't get out of the box, and get a simple pump off just because I predicted where the player was going to go to. Next up, let's show you one of the best ways to become a better box fighter. Now, one example is right here. As you can see, I'm trying to get up on high ground, and this player is going to box up in a full brick box, but most importantly, he's going to leave out the cone in his box. What you can do if any player is on an elevated layer with no cone in their box is hold a cone through the roof, and you're going to be able to place a cone in their box. What this does is it either forces them to break the cone or they have to leave the box entirely. Now you're going to notice when I get the cone in this box and then I break the floor and try and edit, I don't actually get him with the edit. He's stuck up here, but that's okay because now he's forced to leave that box. So when he tries to leave the box, I'm going to read which direction he's going to go. So I look up at him, notice how I'm looking where he is, and I see him edit this window. This means that he's probably going to try and go out that window. So I flip up my cone and I catch him off guard because as he's walking out, he falls right into my box. I can then place a floor after I shoot him. I place this floor because if I don't, he can build and then get out. And then I can edit the floor again after I've cracked him and then drop him in, getting myself a simple kill just because I placed a cone in the opponent's box. Next up, I'm going to be showing you one of the best ways to full box your opponent. Now, one very simple example is right here. As you can see, I'm about to get a big beam out of the player in the sky. I hit him for about 160. Now after I get this big hit of opening damage, when I throw my teleporter, it's very important the way that I do it. Notice how I'm not going to throw it like land it right here in his face. I'm going to throw it right above him, but also behind him. Notice the timing on my teleport. I teleport and I land right behind him and above him. This is the hardest angle for him to look from because he would have to turn and then look all the way up just to see me. What this does is it catches the player off guard, and then I can land on his head and place a floor and a cone above him. But I know he's going to move out of that box because obviously I have it pieced up. So I predict he's going to back up, and I pre-piece that area so that when he walks into it, I'm already in and I can get a simple pump off and pick up a quick kill just because I closed distance properly with a teleporter. Now, one of the best ways that you can consistently win more fights against any type of player is by understanding your opponent's playstyle. Now, a simple example of understanding playstyles is right here. I'm going to go up to this player's wall and you're going to notice I'm going to full box him and I'm going to reset the wall. As soon as I reset this wall, I've understood what type of player this is because he's the type of player to just jump in and not care about anything. Notice how he's sprinting at my walls, just trying to jump in 50-50 with an auto. I don't want that to happen. So I'm not going to make any wide edits. I'm not going to make any peanut butter edits, anything like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to limit myself to window edits and wall resets. This means that the other player can't jump in my box. Notice how I realized that's not a good peek. So I reset. I realize this player is just trying to spray in again, so I just hold the wall and reset. This allows me to counter his playstyle with window edits. Notice how I make a window edit, he can't jump in my box, and I'm also able to get a pump off and crack him and finish off a kill simply just because I understood my opponent's playstyle. Now, every fight is going to be different, that is understandable, but one of the best ways that you can overall become a better fighter and a better player in general is by learning the ramp phase trick. Now, the ramp phase trick is very simple. When you're on an opponent's wall just like this, notice me right here, and then this is the opponent fighting. If I notice the opponent doesn't have a cone in his box, just like I showed you earlier with the cone, you can throw a ramp in their face. What this does, again, is it forces them to leave the box. In this situation, this player basically had nowhere to go because the wall on his right, as you can see, is kind of scuffed and he can't get out. And this means that now I have full control of this box and I can edit that wall. But most importantly, after I edit the wall, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to shoot and then reset the wall. What this does is when the other player wants to now shoot back at me, I block it and then I can after return fire because I know he can't shoot his shotgun again and I can pick up a simple kill. Now, if you not only want to become a better fighter, but you want to end fights way faster, you need to learn how to pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Now, one example is right here. As you can see, I'm on the high ground and the player I'm fighting is going to push up to me and he's actually going to do a little bit of damage to me. You're going to notice he takes a little bit of health off. Now, right after I take that damage, obviously I'm going to box up, but not only am I going to box up, I'm going to be focused on the other player. Notice how I'm tracking him and looking at him while I'm in this box. What this does is it allows me to see him popping minis. I can then catch him off guard with an edit and I'm able to crack him with a right hand peek, place a wall in front of me so that he can't return fire. Then I catch him off guard with a left side edit and I'm able to spray him, crack him again, and I'm able to bleed through and pick up a simple elimination just because I was looking at what my opponent was doing. Now, in the past, I've told you guys to not be greedy for loot, but you also need to not be greedy for kills because getting greedy for kills can often get you killed because of third parties. One example is right here. As you can see, I'm about to enter a third party situation and I'm going to spray this player in the back. I teleport in and I spray this player in the back and I crack him. Now, obviously, that's an incentive for me to obviously now push him. Now, I try and get in his box. You're going to see me continue to push him. I'm trying to jump in. I'm eventually actually able to crack him a second time, but again, he makes a bunch of space. I'm going to speed it up so you understand how long this takes. I try and get into his box and it's just not working for me. But then I realized that the third party could be looking at me right now, and look at that, he is. Imagine he sprays both of us out and we die. Now, after I realized that the kill is not worth it, I'm going to actually leave the fight and not be greedy because I know zone's going to pull over the water. So I decided to teleport and get in a good position before both the other players. What this does is it actually allows me to pick up the kill on that player because he now has to go to zone, but I'm already there, so I can see his teleporter before he even teleports, catch him off guard, spray him in the back, and pick up a simple kill just because I wasn't greedy. Next up, let's show all of you how to incorporate your movement with your fighting skills. Now, one very simple example is right here. This is me on the roof trying to just get into this player's box, but notice what I'm going to do with my movement. Instead of just jumping into this player's box and spraying in right here, obviously this player would look right at me and pump me in the face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go behind this player's back. Notice how obviously he's looking up at me, and I'm going to spray while turning around and running behind him. What this does is, as you can see, he's looking up right here, but I'm behind him. This catches him off guard and I'm able to fall into his box and get a pump off before he can turn around. This allows me to not take damage even though I jumped into an opponent's box. Now that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to see how to take creative skill into ranked matches, go watch this video. And with that, I'm out. Peace.